All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for game number 3, an unexpected game 3, I would say, if you were asking me about 15 minutes into that last game, for Stony Brook University versus the University of Alberta. We are all tied up 1-1 in the series.
Yeah, that last game, honestly, Stony Brook should have had that game in about 30 minutes or less. Sorry, I'm chuckling now because that's how often you typically get a pizza, and we were just talking
I was about to make that exact joke, Corrigan.
I don't know. I got my mind on the food. It's been a long day. Anyway, Stony Brook should have had that game. Kind of tossed it away, but to University of Alberta's credit, they caught it like masterfully.
Yeah, they Stony Brook definitely put themselves out there. And Alberta said, I mean, if you insist, and just had at it.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, for sure. So, same exact bands coming out of Alberta. I guess, but Brook don't fix it. Clockwork band coming out of Stony Brook, and they are moving back to the Tusk. So,
good.
Just moving back to game 1. Yep,
Tusk is a very high impact hero here, where roaming heroes are so important. Tusk is he's kind of a roamer. Most roamers need to get on top of them to do something, except for, there's a couple of the staple ones are your Earthshakers and things like that. He's one of those guys. So he doesn't have to get in there and get seen. He just has to get shards in the right place. That's what makes him so powerful right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the other thing about that is Stony Brook do like to play these long game roamers and open up mid-game space. Tusk, Clockwork, Earthshaker are all heroes that can basically play their role at level 1, maybe level 2, and can continue to do so for a very long time, as you mentioned, which just allows more experience to get stacked on top of cores, bringing that mid game in that much sooner.
All right, well, this time Alberta taking a little bit longer on their picks. Going into last game, they seemed really confident in their picks, and it is one that they won. That's something you want to typically see during the draft, but now burning some reserve time on just their second pick here. They got the win. It seems like last game they felt like they had nothing to lose, and were just picking to their strength and kind of had an idea. Now Alberta, do you think they might be getting into their own heads right now?
Yeah, they might be. I mean, they seem to be a team that can keep their wits about them, but do overreact.
5 seconds remaining.
They make mistakes and then anchor and adjust poorly, right? Something that the team could really use is just the clarity to say, hey, just because that happened once doesn't mean it's going to happen again, this situation, and play each situation case by case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the perfect example of that last game where they had a huge advantage and 3 players down for close to 2 minutes, 90 seconds at least, no buybacks. And they made the retreat call. They got their megas, I think, right? And just backed off?
Yeah, and granted, that didn't end up costing them, but it could have.
Yes.
It opened the door for that to
Stony Brook once again grabbing that Shadow Shaman. They had that last game, yeah. In the Shadow Shaman last game, the wards weren't used to great effect. A couple Panic Death wards went down. And then also wards on towers that kind of were already guaranteed. Would you agree?
Yeah, Panic wards, I think, are a very good way to describe, especially the end of the game. The Shadow Shaman had a couple fights where there were no wards coming out at all, and then he was dead while his opponents were pushing. And I think he just decided, it's better to get a couple of auto attacks from wards than to get nothing out of them, which, in fairness is true, but we really needed to see more tactical coalition around the ward and black hole placement from the team as a whole. I don't think it was really the Shadow Shaman's fault.
But yeah, Alberta OD, they said, hey, that works great. I'll have another, please.
I'll have one myself. Yeah, and that does work out really well with the Night Stalker. The reduced vision allows an OD to be able to close the gap very efficiently, get that Astral Imprisonment out, and then the team is just able to absolutely surround and target.
Dire team pick.
Brewmaster.
Brew, there you go.
Looking at the Brewmaster, maybe a Lycan and just they ban
Banned it,
Lycan
yeah.
themselves. Interesting.
Lycan was like a first round ban, but after the
Oh.
changes to him for the shapeshift duration and the
5 seconds
and the
remaining.
-1 armor, he takes literally all damage now, 100% damage all the time because of that lack of armor. He has been relegated to not being picked as much, at least in the games that I've seen since the patch. It has only been like a week, so it's hard to gauge, but reactionary drafting has dictated that we're seeing him less now.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. Yeah, as you and the viewers may know, I've spent a lot of time looking at Dota data. It was my job for an extended period. I did work with Dota Buff as well for quite some time, and I'll tell you the one thing that I learned as a Dota data analyst is that reactions to changes are much more important than changes. You see a nerf on Lycan, Lycan's not coming out as much anymore. It doesn't matter if the
10
nerf
seconds
actually
remaining.
had that impact, because the perceived impact in the immediate
5
aftermath is
seconds
going to be
remaining.
substantial, and nobody's willing to risk their game on it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, whatever, however long it takes for people to say, oh, you know what, this change didn't actually alter the way that I want to play this hero, or there's another way to play to his strengths.
But only in the not picked direction, right? It seems like if a hero gets a buff that seems broken, he still isn't drafted corely into the draft right away because they need
Yep.
to test the waters with the change.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You don't see a
Radiant
buff
team
that leads
back.
to a massive immediate spike of pick very often. It does happen, but it's much more rare, whereas any nerf will usually lower the impact a hero has on the draft. So if the hero was a first round pick before, or was an always banned pick before, now maybe he's getting around to
10
the first pick.
seconds
If
remaining.
he used to be first pick, now maybe he's getting banned in round 2 instead of the first pick. That sort of
5
just
seconds
gradual
remaining.
decline.
Oh, actually, now that I think about it, you will occasionally see. So I think there's a nerf means you don't pick. A
Radiant
unknown
team
buff
pick.
means that you ban, right? Like Bane when he got his buff to where he could his enfeeble stole damage. He was a first round ban for the longest time. His waters weren't tested, but the uncertainty of it meant that we don't know, so we don't
10
want to play
seconds
this.
remaining.
Yeah, I would say that that's also a limited case. So when we used to
5
have
seconds
major
remaining.
patches, like 49 pages of patch notes in Greek,
In a 2-hour and an 8-hour purge video.
right? Those patches, typically there would be 1 or 2 heroes that people were so afraid of the changes that for 2 to 4 weeks they would just ban them outright in competitive play. For these little patches, I don't expect to see that ever, to be honest. And now that we've switched over to a once every 2 weeks patching schedule.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen anymore. Like Lion, he is mana steal, his mana drain slows now. Oh my god. No, you're never gonna waste a ban on that, especially with the state that Lion's in.
You need somebody to demonstrate to you in a game that that's worth banning. So you need to lose a game or two to it before, or you just need to know that your
Dire
opponent's
team
fucking loving.
Or- Yeah, or see another. Okay, Stony Brook gonna go for the Shadow Fiend again.
Obviously, this is a player who is particularly skilled at this hero, and you know what? I always support players playing the heroes that they are best with in CSL, rather than necessarily heroes that fit their
10
lineup the
seconds
best.
remaining.
Although honestly, I wasn't particularly
5
impressed last
seconds
game by
remaining.
the Shadow Fiend. I
Yeah,
think that
not
he did
last
well,
game.
but
I think the
not
whole game, the
that
whole
well.
team didn't play at the level that we saw them in game 1.
Yeah, though I will say the gyrocopter was the big problem. The gyrocopter getting caught out and then not being able to find himself the space is what put the pressure on Enigma. And then Enigma's inability to find those black holes is what collapsed the game. So those would
And
be the two.
which we
that I
should
would
say, Gyrocopters picked here again.
Yeah.
They're doubling down.
So they are going for a much easier overall strategy here of look for space instead of look for compression. So the Brewmaster's job is to mix a fight up and create a lot of dispersion from the fight.
You may
So the
now
Gyrocopter
select
and the
your
Shadow Fiend can
heroes.
pick a hero, pick a hero, pick a hero. Whereas the Enigma's job was to wait for compression and capitalize on it. It's much easier to execute a strategy that calls for space. The only problem is your heroes tend to get kited as your opponents spread out. So we really need to make sure that Masquerade is going like Mask of Death. We need to see a Force Staff on Tusk. We need to make sure we probably are going to need to see that Cyclone Staff on Dark Raider. Just to make sure that everybody's able to close in on those gaps that the Brewmaster is going to be opening up.
Roman put it perfectly. A split is much easier to land than a black hole.
Yeah. Yeah, and Anti-Mage is the last pick. That's not a hero that I really see very often, to be honest, these days. It's fine here. I don't know that it really speaks to me, though. It is good at closing the gap on the gyrocopter, so that in and of itself is nice.
Yeah, the Battle Fury meta is pretty strong right now still, even with the changes. It really mostly just affected illusion heroes. Which Anti-Mage obviously will be getting, but he's not super concerned about it.
Right, the illusions are not the primary draw for the Anti-Mage. They amplify the primary draw for the Anti-Mage with his extremely low base attack time, extremely high damage, and mana control. Good initiation as well.
Starting out with a pause.
And tech pause. Well, right. Well, we have not gone through players yet, so I'm going to go through Stony Brook University here on the Radiant side. We've got game number 3 coming up, 1-1, and Zing is calling out his spirits on the Brewmaster. Shadow Shaman is snaking around. It's the Ling. Celitos is rolling around on the Tusk. Masquerade is soaring through the skies on Gyrocopter, and Dark Raider is pulling it together on Shadow Fiend.
Meanwhile, on University of Alberta, it is going to be our friend Seijuro Akashi on the Jakiro. Meanwhile, the Night Stalker will be picked up by Sick. And the OD will be played by FXF, excuse me. Beastmaster will be taken by Zero this time around. And finally, we have that Kaio on the Anti-Mage.
All right, and it looks like we're going to be seeing some aggressive posturing here from the Radiant squad. They seem to be drawn on the map that they want to go up north hard, which is a playbook that we saw coming out of U of A earlier on in the day, the opening first blood from game number 1. Of course, the opposite coming down from the top, but still. We are okay, FXF says, but 1 sec from Zing. All right, well, what do you expect to see out of the laning phase here? A Shadow Shaman versus an OD. We saw that matchup before. Is there anything different about the way the supports are going to work this game that might change it up?
The Tusk is going to allow, I think, a better opportunity to go and kill that OD than the Clockwork did. But let me see here. Night Stalker is, once he hits that first night, Night Stalker is the roamer. So they might be able to continue. They might be able to keep the Shadow Fiend down longer. Typically, Dark Raider has not had he's ate a couple early deaths, but has recovered pretty well and continued to keep the progression out.
Both teams moving in the same basic directions here. And there is a smoke on the Night Stalker, though, which means U of A should engage into this with advantage. Depending on how they move, if they do end up moving through the high ground on the river front,
it's going to be a long trip around, though.
Yeah, they might actually just pass each other. No, see, take a look at here.
They're going to find Beastmaster. They're going to have no idea that he's here.
Yeah.
They pop. Oh, they're going to think he's down the ramp. No, there we go. Jakiro is going to find him.
It's not a smart place for him to wait. He's AFK.
Oh. Maybe he should have kept that pause out a little longer. Good body blocks up from Anti-Mage, and that's going to give FXF the first blood. Now, they can't... Oh, Jakiro. Jakiro, no. Oh, Jakiro, no. No, buddy, no.
Get out of there.
Oh, and Ling gets the last hit there. He's happy to have that. They should be able to clean... and actually, Alberta will be able to get three bounties out of this. They're going to give 2 to the OD, or actually, he's going to be really... They have no idea this one's completely uncontested. Beastmaster gonna go for the
Beastmaster
pole.
will probably check it when he drags the creeps, right? He's got to go through there anyway. Brewmaster's trying to beat him to it. It's a race! And moving around the outside stretch, we've got Zero with a bunch of creeps behind him. There comes the Beastmaster as well. He's going to move up to the bounty rune, and he is going in. It's not even a close race at all. He just goes to make sure that his tower doesn't take too much damage.
Not a photo finish.
It's
A landscape finish.
Thank you. A landscape finish. What's the word when you track your iPhone or your Android or whatever?
Panorama.
It's a panorama finish.
That's also
Boy,
the word I was looking for. I needed you to make that iPhone reference for me to grab it myself.
You know, I'm half a brain, you're half a brain. Together, we're two halves of a brain.
That's maths.
That's good math.
For our
and
British
another
friends.
aggressive trialing, but this time it's going to be coming out of SCU.
Nice Doctor taking quite a lot of damage. Shackles on him when they hit him with the rocket barrage. Oh, Solito's a couple more shots. They could be able to get this.
Boy.
No, he's too slow to get the rocket barrage out again. And now it will actually be Ling going down instead of that Night Stalker. They're going to try and continue the pressure on the Jakiro. There they go. They got shards. They can go double. Oh, they've got another rocket barrage coming out. They get the Jakiro. Couple more shots. One more. Please and thank you. Finally. Now they even get a shackle onto the Night Stalker and rocket barrage. Thanks to that magic stick, they get another kill out of it. It's something.
That's great. Yeah, unfortunately now, completely out of mana, the Gyrocopter has to wait until his wand can recharge him. And this is not a lane that they're going to get a lot out of if they are not completely and consistently fueled up on mana. They don't have any heal for sustain here either, which means outside of the first 3 or 4 minutes, this would be a difficult lane to play aggressively. So.
Well, they're trying to go on a zing right now. They've got another dual breath here in a second. They slow him down. There we go. Night Stalker uses his void. They're stacking a little bit. He's going to try and TP out. Couple more shots. No!
Now
Panda
that's
down.
a photo finish. Haste rune on the Tusk not going to be utilized, but is going to be denied. Actually, he's going to move up onto the OD in the mid.
Oh, shards. Look at those blocking him out. Now they're going to get some raises. He's going to try and turn around a Dark Raider, but this is what I was expecting to see out of this Tusk.
That was an interesting call from the OD to go up to a range where he can be hit by 2 Shadow Raises instead of just soaking up the one and walking around the shards. I think he thought that he could make a trade. In reality, he might have been able to make it so that all he had to do was just sell up.
Maybe he thought the Tusk didn't have the mana for the Snowball as well, because the Snowball did interrupt a couple more of the orbs that might have. I don't know. I think, yeah. I think you're still correct completely. And Night Stalker goes down, caught on a rune.
Yeah. He was actually being chased for quite some time.
Oh, gosh. Shadow Shaman goes down in the mid now.
So that chase for the Night Stalker ran all the way from the Shrine there and lasted for a comically long amount of time with no interaction from anybody else on the team.
The important question is, had you had a soundboard with the Benny Hill theme, would you have played it? That tells us all we need to know about that chase.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I just didn't want to interrupt the excellent analysis that was going on. I mean, oh my god, this courier, again, this is what lost the lane for her for the first game, right? For U of A, that courier flying out for no reason. The micro skills from FXF.
Now gonna go onto Dark Raider. Dark Raider doesn't have any help TPing, and a couple more shots is all it's gonna take. And Beastmaster goes down in a different lane. Can you guys please stop this? Now one more shot's all it's gonna take as FXF getting caught under the tower. One more shot. Do they have a deep raise? No, they're not gonna be able to get him. Good lord. They're just wait to make sure that I'm not looking.
Jakiro's going to be cut off here, and there's Rocket Barrage moving on to him as well.
Oh,
a lot of damage. The dual breath will miss, but
completely.
they will be parting ways. And now mid. Oh, never mind. Night Stalker's going to TP away. It looked like he was positioning himself to try and move out and just solo kill that Shadow Fiend. But he's moving out to try and move top. That's probably not going to be an engagement worth watching, just some harass. And finally, we get a moment's breath. I like the Masquerade. You know, I had said the Gyrocopter lane up top will be very difficult to execute after 3 to 4 minutes. Right around 3 minutes, they rotated on bottom. They put the Brewmaster back up into the top lane, and they went to more traditional lanes after that point. I think that was absolutely the right call, and we're seeing the benefit of that now as the Gyrocopter has uncontested creep arm in this bottom lane. And up top, we're seeing a bit of action onto the Brewmaster. He's not hanging on to enough mana in order to really harass out the Anti-Mage, who is sitting on 28 last hits and 11 denies. Against the Brewmaster, that is a lot more than you would expect. This rotation, probably not going to be a kill on the AM, but maybe they'll be able to move on to the Jakiro if he comes out too far. Ice Shards will miss the mark. And the pole is going to be just a little off in terms of denying all those creeps. Mid lane, taking a look at that matchup, making sure that it remains even. We do have a Shadow Fiend, 25, 21 on the OD. Both of them are sitting on similar denies as well, so an extremely even lane. Up top, there's a bit of a chase going on here, but I don't think that's going to amount to too much. There is shards in 4 seconds, and both teams are going to go to their corners after the river.
Yeah, Stony Brook's just making sure that they keep control of these bounties.
And they're doing a good job of it, right? They're just denying out that space is absolutely making it possible for them to...
Spelitos? They're going to go aggressively here. They get the stomp onto Jakiro. Jakiro throws the dual breath out now. Spelitos needs to get out of here. Jakiro, he's going to make his way away. Kaio. Oh, he drops the Mana Void. One more shot! He's going to get the Tusk now. Makes his way away. Meanwhile, Night Stalker getting blown up in the mid.
All right, well, I mean, this is a high-action game. 10 kills in 7 minutes, and that's not what you expect to see when you have an anti-mage in the game, especially, right? That's especially an anti-mage who's doing really well. Anti-mage, not traditionally a hero who likes high-octane early games, not traditionally a hero who bodes well under high pressure, but he's sitting on 37 last hits, 14 denies. He also has a kill and 2 assists. That could be trouble for Stony Brook down the line.
Certainly, yeah. It's 7 minutes up. He's doing pretty good on his Battle Fury timing. He should have that. I think if he continues this, he'll have it maybe 11 to 12 minutes.
And that's a really, really good time considering that means that he's going to be able to be getting his Manta out by about 14 and a half, 15 minutes. And in the previous games, 14 to 17 minutes is when we've seen Stony Brook hit their stride and really start moving out of these mid games. So if Anti-Mage can get Battle Fury plus an item by the time that stride happens, he'll be in great shape. Up top, that's going to be a kill on Jakiro, maybe. No, they're not going to dive the tower for it. Ling going to try to eat through, trying to find him for the attack. Very clever. Won't end up working.
And you got to remember with this Anti-Mage's Battle Fury progression is he started this game out against a tri-lane. That was supposed to keep him down.
'Tis mine.
Yeah, and you know, it did for about 1 minute, but you just don't have the makings of a long-term successful tri-lane here. You need heal, you need a Dazzle, an Omni Knight.
Go rotations onto the mid. No, they're just gonna get caught now. Night Stalker gets caught, shackled up, and this will be food for this Stony Brook team. Not the place you want to be in. They thought they had a better position than they did.
That little piggy went to market, and FXX. Wow, FXF. Well, I'm losing my mind, but this pizza cannot get to your super drop. I'll tell you what, we are going to see move on to him. Slowly but
He's going
surely.
to get the Astral out onto the Shadow Fiend and continue to chase onto the Tusk.
Oh,
can he do this?
Primal Roar.
Primal Roar goes out in the bottom. Now Masquerade's got the Rocket Barrages coming out. He's going to do the call down. And just as I move from the mid lane, I missed the kill there. Masquerade goes down. That's going to be both heroes of Stony Brook claimed, both of the big bad boys that they don't want to lose. And meanwhile, Jakiro on the top. This game is insane right now. 3
kills, 3 lanes. What more can you ask for other than a classic PGL split cam, which unfortunately we here at CSL do not have. Tell Twitch to send us more money so that we can cast this game correctly.
Or give us your money. That also works.
Oh yeah, you can. I'll take your money. I've got a PO box set up. You can just send unmarked dollar bills. PO Box 32, Aspen, Colorado.
Gorgon does take payment in pizzas as well.
I absolutely, if somebody wants to seamless me or Grubhub me a pizza, I will take it because this one is taking much longer than I thought it would in Dota time at least. But I guess we also had that long pause, and maybe that's why it feels that way to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, between the drafts and the pauses in current time, you know, you're not getting your 30 minutes or left. Ling is going to get found and down here. I do not see a way out of this for him. They're holding the ice path, though. What? I feel like they had him there.
That's a sound. That's a sound that's appropriate there. They're not done down here. They've got Tuskar moving up behind. This is a really awkward momentum position for Tuskar because he can't, land a good shards. So he's not one of these heroes like Pudge or Clockwork that's able to move up from behind the tower successfully. A Spirit Breaker, right? Because he does want to make sure that the shards come from him toward the tower. Meanwhile, there's some pinging going on up top. Maybe some action going to come out here.
Well, that was up top. They had the Shadow Shaman caught out so much, and they had a perfect opportunity to get an ice path on him, like pretty deep. And I feel like they had the damage. It's not nighttime, so maybe that's what they're worried about. But I don't know. Oh man, they're gonna get a smash onto. Instead, it gets turned around on a sick. They hung around. They didn't do anything. They were indecisive. And they just give up and kill the other way instead.
Tower does go down bottom, and Anti-Mage is getting caught up to by the Gyrocopter. Now, granted, Anti-Mage, not yet sitting on his Battle Fury, should be starting to lag a little bit behind the Gyrocopter, just because Gyrocopter's ability to flash farm is so much greater at this stage. As soon as he gets that Battle Fury, I would expect a meteoric rise from him, though. And the question is, by the time or before the time that Battle Fury comes out, can this Gyrocopter get strong enough in order to start peeling away tier 1 towers in such a way as to take some map control and harass this Anti-Mage, make his farm slower? Because if not, this is going to be a very difficult game to execute.
Now Keo, he's only gained about 800 gold in the last like 4 minutes. It feels like I'm pretty sure he had 1,200 when I was timing out his Battle Fury, and he's now not. It doesn't feel like he's anywhere close to it.
Yeah. This is a player that we saw more than once get off to a really good start and then dawdle a little bit. But part of this is just that the Brewmaster now, as the supports start rotating away, is really good at shutting down the supports, right? The mischance that comes from the Ale makes it impossible for the Anti-Mage to stay in lane unless he's got the supports just sitting there and full-time babysitting him. And it turns out, with the Gyrocopter starting to hit his stride, the supports weren't able to just sit there indefinitely, and that's essentially what's happened here.
Smoke up from Stony Brook. They just drop a ward. Zing? Or Zing? Gonna try and go into the security jumps the ice path. They use the call down. Oh! Rotations in! TPs in are just gonna be extra noms. And they already committed the Serpent Ward on the top, so they'll just hit it down the old-fashioned way.
Now, this is the way to do it, right? You need to strip these towers away before the Battle Fury comes out. Now they should probably push this wave up and then move through their opponent's jungle and drop.
Yeah, they've got... Some of the Alberta team is busy in the bottom, so they're going to be trying to take this, so it's perfect time to try and pressure a tier 2. See if you can force a rotation or claim it if no one does anything. Still another 35 seconds on ward, so Beastmaster gets axes in. He gets the roar out onto Gyrocopter, but they are going to instead roll onto the Beastmaster, turn this around. Now TPs are a little fragmented. Anti-Mage is going to get that bottom tower, but they're not gonna counter initiate here. Anti-Mage still on the bottom.
Yeah, that was a real. They might be able to swing one. Stars are gonna miss, and that is that. That was a really questionable trade attempt coming from Radiant, in my opinion. Even if they trade uncontested tier 2 for tier 1, that tier 1 is the Battle Fury for Anti-Mage. So you're giving Anti-Mage Battle Fury a little bit earlier, and that tier 2 doesn't actually act as a blockage point for entry into the jungle, which is really what they need, right? That the tier 2 is not really stopping any sort of pathways to success. So it's much more important to slow down the Battle Fury from the Anti-Mage than it is to get that tier 2 at this stage.
Yeah, and OD actually having a great time in the net worth charts. Gyrocopter should be catching up pretty quickly, but I think the Anti-Mage will be able to outstrip him at this point.
And They are going to start pushing down mid here. I'm honestly, yeah, the anti-mage needs to get out of this push. He doesn't need to be involved, and he does need to be flash farming. He's got some stacks up here.
Radiant's middle
And a
tower
jungle
is
that's,
under
as
attack.
of right now, not heavily warded. Up top, though, Walrus punched out. The attack is back. There's going to be a
Rotation's coming in. Here it goes. The roar out onto Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend invisible. FXF now able to turn around onto the Tusk. Not going to be able to get the kill. The Shackle's out. Shadow Shaman, no! He will die very much. And Masquerade, just one by one, the ants go marching in. He gets a considerable amount of damage there, and Ling actually making it out of there. Kyo not going to jump aggressively onto Ling. We'll just TP out of there and should be able to make it. I'm surprised Stony Brook got as much out of that as they did.
I honestly I thought that gyrocopter running in was inevitable doom, but he's just got himself into a point where when he's hit one of these mini power spikes gyrocopter gets, maybe 3 or 4 a game, and he's utilizing it very effectively.
Oh, yeah?
At least waste the
Already used his astral. Now the rocket's coming in. FXF is absolutely dead here. Boop! No! Okay, one more shot. There we go. Ice Path, only level 1. Not going to hold him for very long.
Uh-oh.
And then a jump and a split. They're going to be able to put it out into the Jakiro. They spin up onto the Beastmaster. Beastmaster going to be the next target. Hex, raise, everything. Now they've got the creeps, the Panda Brewlings here to take the level, or the tier 2 tower. Finally, the creeps coming up to help.
Glyph partially used while backdoor protection was up, so that was like a little panic, I think. But overall, what are you going to do, right? Like, the gyrocopter suddenly feels unstoppable, although Primal Split was a much bigger part of that than I think.
Oh, they've got the wards and 2 guys down, so they're able to pressure this tier 3. Stony Brook starting to put some very good early pressure out. Zoning Macro Pyre going to go out. Tier 3 claim. Now Ling gets a Hex and a Night Stalker. Now they need to back up out of this. Ling shouldn't be channeling the Shackles up here. They're hanging around the high ground. Do they want to stay here, Gorgon?
Yeah, they want to buy these wards.
Call down. Call down's going to do quite a bit here. They get the Jakiro damage into Beastmaster, the wards. They've got the time. They're going to claim a melee barracks out of it as well. I thought for sure that they would have been forced to back out, but they've got their timings right now. This is where they're strong.
Now, what's going to force them back is the real problem that you're starting to face if you're Alberta, right? Because the anti-mage still doesn't have even a Yasha in his inventory, although it is purchased. And he's on the other side of the map, farming, pushing. He's getting as much done with this space as he can. But unless he jumps into the game, or into the fight, and lands a massive mana void just by happenstance that kills the whole team, he provides essentially nothing to these fights right now.
Yeah, Anti-Mage isn't in that point where he's really pressuring the towers. He does get a creep wave up, and actually they're going to let him go. They're just going to trade for trade. See if they can get 2 for 1. They've got a gyro, so they're fine with it. But they need to do this quickly. Walrus Punch into FXF. Now, Primal Split goes out. They're going to be able to catch XFX. Requiem popping up. They're just getting damaged. Anti-Mage is going to be forced back. He's TPing. Yeah, there he goes. TP's back. It's a little bit of damage, but that's it. And they're actually kind of happy with that. They got a good amount of damage on the tier 3, whereas Stony Brook didn't get very much at all.
Oh, good blink away. These guys were not prepared, and they are going to suffer for it. They should have been waiting with damage. Honestly, Boars needed to be out and just following that Earth Spirit to make sure that the second that it came out, that blink got canceled.
Alright, chat saying one of the casters is quiet. Let me check my OBS mixer right now.
That might be me. Have I sounded quieter to you?
Let me see. I'm putting them together. No, I mean, on my mixer, we're pretty even. I might be a little bit higher. Say something again there, Mr. Gorgon.
Well, you know what? I just turned on the stream and I sounded plenty loud to me, but I will double check. You know, just hearing snippets. Thanks for letting us know what you're thinking, chat. We will continue to try and make sure that we are balancing things out according to your feedback. Also, please remember that we got this 5 minutes ago, so, you know.
Bear with us. I think, yeah, my normal speaking might be around here, so I might be the one a little bit low, but I don't know.
You
it's hard
might be
to tell.
low. Get yourself, you know, you got to put yourself out there, Wibrix. You got to be heard.
I have a tendency to very hype moments to lead to rupture some eardrums, so I think the chat will actually probably find it quite beneficial to have the a little low on the normal times.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad that you're taking the hype because with my low blood pressure and blood sugar right now, I am liable to pass out if I get too excited.
That damn pizza. Still not here. Stony Brook gonna go ahead and take himself a Roshan.
You would think that I'm being paid by the pizza line. How much I'm pumping pizza right now. I swear to God, it's just love, guys. I'm not being paid by them.
Not love right now, though.
No,
Angry,
right
I
now
think.
it's just wrath, or it's about to be. Okay, let's see if he can, if this OD is able to just open up on the gyrocopter menu.
He's got the invis rune. He's scouting out, but just kind of taking a passive position.
Radiant's top tower is
Alberta, a little worried right now. Not gonna try and fight. And I think if they did try and fight right now, you know, they're doing it 5-on-4 basically. The Animage is out doing Animage things. So I can't disagree with their decision to not just go ham right there.
So he can blink onto the Shadow Fiend and just Manta, and he can just blink onto the...
I think he's about to find Ling. No, Ling gets the high ground. There we go. Shackles, Hex. Are they going to TP people in? Do they want to go onto him?
Yeah, they are.
They've just got the Tusk. He's going to be fine.
Okay, the blink before the snowball, that's not disjointable, and that means that they are going to have this anti-mage with some time.
But the rest of Alberta coming in. They get a roar onto Shadow Fiend. Anti-mage is going to turn around. No, he's hexed up. He's going to go down. There they go. Now Beastmaster probably not able to do enough damage on his own Dark Raider once again. Dodging the heat. Just barely. They're going to be able to get 2 out of that, and even the Jakiro on the retreat gets chased down by Masquerade. And Stony Brook looking a lot more composed this game.
Yeah, they have gotten themselves into a point where I think they've realized, yeah, we made some silly mistakes last game, and yeah, from the very get-go, the draft of that Enigma was more difficult to execute than we needed it to be. We were overthinking it. Let's just play it simple, guys. When you find something, kill something. That's pretty much the whole thing.
All right, Golgi has thrown us a bone and said it was you that is a little bit low. And, you know, I don't think I have you turned up in Discord, so that could be... Usually I have to turn people down in Discord, though, I think. So I'm gonna amp you a little bit there.
Yeah, you know,
sound hyper than you
part
are.
of the problem is I fade away from the mic sometimes once in a while we're casting. So it could also be temporary dips, just because I have weaker mic etiquette while I'm dizzy and hungry. All right, Anti-Mage is going to be moving on here to the Tuskar. There's going to be some auto attacks going out here, and Dark Raider getting prepared.
There we go, Dark Raider. He gets the Requiem out, so he's lowering the damage of Kyo. Kyo now gets hexed up. Oh, it looked like he was going to be able to blink out of that one. But they get the Anti-Mage for the cost of a Tusk. Conversion rate is good, says analysts.
Yeah, that's a fantastic trade, and they are actually going to be able to barrel down and probably drop another tower out of this. They are looking for the buyback, but there is not one, and as soon as they realize that, the wards are going to go down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Dark Raider very low though. No way to heal him up. They're actually gonna play it safe and go take the shrine, which they're happy to do. This will give them a better shot at the next Roche and limit the jungle a little more for the anti-mage.
That seems a little weird to me, just given that Dark Raider does have the Aegis, right? They could have taken that tower with the Aegis now and then fallen back and gone the shrine, but, you know, they're playing to their comfort zone. Maybe they just want to kill the AM again. Who knows?
Yeah, I was about to say 5D chess. They want this anti-mage back so they can kill him again.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Mid tower does go down to the Jakiro. Solo split pushing superhero Jakiro.
Now here we go. Wards drop right away. They get Astral out onto one, but now XFX is getting chased down by the split Pandalings. Gonna get caught in just a moment. No, the Pandas are just hanging out in the back, doing what they want to do, buying space so that they can get this tier 3. The tier 3 is down now. The melee gonna eat so much damage, gonna go down extremely quickly. They even get a kill on the Jakiro and just back straight up. And a buyback on the Jakiro on the retreat. They're happy with that.
Yeah, that's a great position for Radiant to find themselves in. And all they've got left is one trying to plow through, and pretty much any time a core dies, this game is under threat of ending.
Where's my pension?
Gorgon, where on earth is your pizza?
Oh, it's in my mouth right now.
Oh, okay,
Just
so
got
it did.
here.
All right.
Which is why I have an uncharacteristic gap of silence here. But the smoke is up. They're going to rotate around. Let's see if they can initiate onto Masquerade. They're gonna find a private road.
Oh boy! They roared up, beat down even the macro pyre for good measure. Are they able to claim the Ling? They get a 4-staff forward, but a void onto him, now shackled. Night Stalker taking quite a lot of damage, but already used the Ether Shock, so no chance of a kill there. That's what they're looking
That's
for.
A tier 1 though, if they want it. They're gonna move into the tier 2 with the anti-mage. Yeah, Jakiro's gonna be the tier 1 on the back end.
Double your material objectives with one neat trick.
Radiant's middle tower has
Stony
fallen.
Brooks hate him.
Huh. And yeah, Gyrocopter does have buyback if he needs it. The Shadow Shaman is an important component of the overall team fight.
Now,
but
XFX, it looks like they were ready to turn on him, but maybe just not confident about the damage. They do have Primal Split as well, but they don't want to use it there. They've been using it extremely aggressively. They're going to find Zero, but do they have any way to stop the TP? No. The boulder, the snowball, is going to try and take a cross-country trip. Oh, the shard's catching the Jakiro, though, from downtown. Here's a little thing we like to do is draw eyes on those, make them sad faces.
I do that too.
Oh, even gonna find Anti-Mage here. They've got Shackles. Do they have the Hex? No, nothing else. Snowball coming in, but he's already quite far away. Blink up in
Also
1
Rocket.
second. Rocket is gonna hit him, though. Oh, he
Oh
starts
my
the
God.
TP as the Rocket's going. They know where the Rocket is. They get some shards. Do they have the vision that they need? The long race isn't enough, but he jumps into the danger zone. He was safe there, Gorgon.
That was really weird. Well, eventually the Brewmaster would have blinked in there, so he had to go somewhere. But that's the second time that the Anti-Mage has misplayed his blink. First of all, over here, when he blinked before the snowball landed, so the snowball non-disjointable rotated back at him and ended up getting him a kill there. And then now back down here, he tries to TP before that rocket lands.
He knew it was
Maybe
on
he
him,
just
too. It
didn't
was
know
on him
the
for an
rocket was
hour. How could he not know?
Dire's
Right?
bottom tower is under attack.
I feel like that rocket was cast in the laning stage and has been following him ever since.
That rocket was launched by the Russians with a monkey in 1943.
Rest in peace. I can't remember his name. What was the chimp's name?
I'm gonna just go with bananas.
That's a dude. What chimp isn't named Bananas? Honestly.
Exactly.
All right, here we go. Now, same exact play. They've got the Primal Split out in front with the wards in back, taking up the towers as much as they can. Gyrocopter getting beat in the face. Now they've got the tier 3. Here comes the tower kill. They're going to secure themselves some mega creeps very quickly. Then, Alberta just doesn't look in a position to contest this. They're nowhere near. Look, they're at home. We're still dicking around with the TiVo, which is a dated reference.
Yeah, that's where they're going to be able to watch what just happened to their base, but pause it and be like, huh.
And rewind.
Yeah, rewind, watch it over and over again. No ads, just all base destruction all the time. Yeah, this is not a good place to be, and this is not a team. Yeah, they actually do pretty well in the supers. They do okay in the megas. Anti-Mage does fine in the megas, but not nearly as well as Gyrocopter, obviously. There is a limit to how much splash damage that the Anti-Mage can do, and he does have to tank damage in order to do it in most cases. So, not where you want to be, especially with this kind of a deficit, a 15k net worth deficit, and a serious initiation deficit. They've got no blink daggers available on the Dire side, and that's been a big problem for them, that the Brewmaster is able to get in first every time and get those spirits all around the front side, as you've mentioned.
That hero range rack still up though. Tusk now gonna eat a macro pyre and a dual breath. Makes it out of there. Keo jumps onto him and he's gonna get it, but is this gonna cost him? His BKB is popped, he'll be down shortly. Gyro gets a roar onto him, but they have no follow-up for it. Now, the rocket barrages are coming out. Requiem gonna hit into FXF, but he's got his BKB up as well. Now, those are gonna start running out, and a big crit from the Brewmaster will just pull him in the face. What kind of world are we living in where these shackles are transatlantic?
Dire's top barracks are
No.
under attack.
First comes the railroad, and then comes the shackle. That's transcontinental, but I've got pizza in my mouth, so you got to give me a break here.
I give you all the break in the world.
Yeah, this is Megas. There's no buyback on the Night Stalker. This is looking pretty grim.
Yeah, buybacks have to come out. They're going to drop these Serpent Wards on the tier 4s. They're not even concerned about trying to get the Megas. Once again, they're going to do wards in the front, and then the Pandas just going deep.
And you're just so far behind at this point. There's really just no winning fight into the Spirits. Like, maybe if the Spirits weren't up, you could get a really, really good hammer on top of the mana boy and make something happen. But as long as the Brewmaster has his ultimate to open these fights, there's no.
There goes Ancient getting taken very quickly. That strategy was exceptionally effective. Go deep with the split, drop the wards. What are they going to do?
Yeah. And there's no responding to it, partially because of a lack of control coming out of the other side, right? You had Primal Roar, and then you had Sword of Ice Path, but they had no real way of breaking through those spirits and getting into the front lines and stopping heroes from hitting towers. Ultimately, I think their draft let them down substantially. I don't want to blame it on the draft. There was a lot of gameplay issues there as well, especially with the anti-mage and his over-aggressive posturing, but a great draft from Stony Brook, a just marvelous execution from them as well.
Most certainly. All right, everyone. This was the Stony Brook University versus University of Alberta, Alabama. Alberta, different country entirely, I hear. Not even close to each other. Stony Brook is going to take it in a 2-1 series. This was brought to you by Wivrix and Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find us on Twitter. I am at Dota Brews. He is at the Wonder Cow. You can find CSL on Twitter as well at C-Star League. And I'm trying to get my script up. So what's coming up next there, Gorgon?
You know what? I was relying on you for the script, so I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of our sponsors while you get it up and tell us what's coming up
Well,
next.
I can tell you actually already it is Lehigh versus Marietta College. That will be brought to you by Golgi app
with the knowledge.
and Carlton. Send us out there, Gorgon.
All right. Well, I just want to go ahead and thank you guys for tuning in to Collegiate Star League. Make sure you do stick around for another series coming up next. As previously mentioned, we do also have other titles, including Global Offensive. We have, I think, Super Smash Brothers this year, Hearthstone, League of Legends, all sorts of offerings for every game that you love. Just make sure you're coming down here and taking a look. Support Twitch for supporting us, making sure that we have awesome prize pools and scholarships available for collegiate gamers. And of course, make sure that you join the CSL community on our Discord. Type !Discord into the Twitch chat in order to make sure that you know where to go to meet people with common interests, common age groups. Other than me, I'm an old man, but you can also find me there once in a while as well. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next week. Wivrix will see you later this week. I'll see you next week because I do Tuesdays.
True. And then before we go, because CSL said it's okay if I plug it here, once again, Golgi and I are making a run at getting selected for the main stage, or not the main stage, but the group stage casting for Epicenter with the casting competition they're going on. The final week is this week, so we're going to be hitting it hard this weekend. Give us a tune in at twitch.tv/DotaBrews. Give us a follow so you know when we're doing live. We'll be doing SE Southeast Asia qualifiers Friday night, and then kind of a mixed bag, basically all day Saturday and Sunday. Come check us out.
Can I just intercept real quick and tell you that, you know, I got started with Southeast Asia qualifiers for stuff when I was getting going. It really helps when English-speaking people who are aware of you and what you're doing stop in, keep the chat hyped, make sure that they're, you know, tuning in, supporting. Like I grew from a nobody doing literally pub broadcasting to I did broadcasting full time for over a year before I switched over to journalism within esports. And, you know, it's the sort of stuff that Wivrix is doing right now for himself that led to that transition. And I, you know, as somebody who's gone through that, I will be there. Please make sure that you're checking out Wivrix and Golgi and what they're doing. And if you've got the time, just throwing it up on Twitch, throwing a few Twitch comments into the chat. It doesn't hurt you a lot, but it gives him a lot more exposure, a lot more opportunity to grow, which means that your CSL broadcasts are going to get better, as well as you're going to see some more diversity in a common name, that you will be there first with him as he grows up into the big boy caster that we all know he can become. So seriously, I got started the exact same way, man. Best of luck to you, and I'll be sure to be there.
Thank you kindly. I want to gush so much about everything that you just said, but it is about 5 minutes over for the next game, so they probably want us to wrap this up. I'm going to do that right now. Everyone, we'll see you in a moment for Golgi and Carlton taking that Lehigh versus Marietta.
Kiss is still a kiss.